2007, I was featured in the Emmanuel College magazine in an article that highlighted faculty-student research at the college. At that time, I was working with a student on a project that would later become my book, The Homeschooling of Louisa May Alcott, that was published in 2011. After the magazine was published, I received, totally out of the blue, a very nice email from a woman named Elaine Follis, who identified herself as the president of the Mary Baker Eddy Library. She invited me in that email to visit, said that we could have lunch together, and indicated that the archives had material that might be of interest to me, an Alcott scholar. And I was thinking about my project, about my book project, and I recalled Dr. Follis's email to me about the archives. And I thought, oh, why not? I'll go on the Mary Baker Eddy website and see what's there. What could be there? It's Mary Baker Eddy, it's not the Alcotts. So on a whim, I Googled the library, and for some reason, because the computer was possessed in a good way, it brought up the fellowship page. So I decided to apply. And as part of the process, you had to email to a researcher to get a sense of to let them know kind of what your project was and whether the library would support it or not. So I did. The library had correspondence between Mary Baker Eddy and Bronson Alcott, the father of Louisa May and the subject of my book. That first fellowship was a 2-week-long exploration of that Alcott-Eddy correspondence which the library has. I learned that in 1876, Mrs. Eddy sent Bronson Alcott the first edition of her book, Science and Health, which, for those of you that don't know, is kind of the cornerstone text for Christian Science. Alcott was struck by its contents, and he replied almost immediately in a letter that he read her, quote, remarkable volume, quote, with profound interest. And as a result, he was very eager to meet her. He, of course, was living in the Boston-Concord area at that time. Quote, I hail with joy any voice that speaks an assured word for God and immortality, and my joy is heightened the more the words are of woman's divinings. And that's his line in his response to Mrs. Eddy in one of the letters that are in the archive. Of course, I was fascinated by this. I was very interested to learn what it was about Mary Baker Eddy's ideas that indeed intrigued Bronson Alcott himself.